It's Friday, Feedback Friday, the feedbackiest day of the week. Ha! It is Feedback Friday, and yes, I'm recording at night, and my mini glowy box is going. Baby's first glowy box. Sorry about the appearance and the Slytherin hoodie. I had treatment on. Some people have watched this channel for a while know I have these ongoing problems with my hands. This is my fist. This is why I can't be outraged, because I can't fight the power. My fist doesn't close. I have ongoing problems with my hands and numerous other things. And so I had nerve therapy today, which involves taking like electrical stimulus and jamming it near the nerves. And the more blocked the nerves are, the more they hurt. Well, apparently the nerves in my hands are really messed up because, oh my God, it was like down the arm. It was no problem, no problem, no problem, no problem. Got this, whatever. Oh, that's a little funny. Oh, I suddenly felt like Akira, like, zzz, like, whoa, did it hurt? So I'm a little loopy right now. But I wanted to get this done. Everything just got bunged up today. The patrons, yesterday, got Loki playing with his new dreidel toy for Hanukkah. If you want to see that, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. The other thing patrons did this week was helped me out with the backers and patrons only episode of Lady Bits that I'm just putting on the finishing touches. And then I'm going to shoot it really quickly before we move. Because I was working on it. I'm doing another top 10 list, the countdown list of things that, we can do to solve this issue involving women in video games, the perception issue primarily. And I realized that when I was on the subject of empathy, I'm like, oh wow, people with autism make up a large portion of the gaming community, and empathy is not so simple for people on the autism spectrum. And so I asked for help from the Patreon community, and the responses I got were nothing short of brilliant. It was freaking amazing. The community is great. So even if you want to drop $1 a month to just be part of a really great community on Patreon, that has nothing to do with me, other than I'm sort of the person everybody congregates around. But it's humbling when people, offer stuff like that. But it's not about that. It's about your feedback this week. I want to start with the Baby It's Cold Outside parody song. I want to thank my buddy Mouse Mary Jest for that. He is crazy talented and super patient with me. We had a real dilemma on our hands, and one person actually on Patreon didn't like the finished product because we didn't do the overlapping lyrics in the call and answer format. And for anybody else who felt the same way, there actually was a reason for that. The original version of the song we recorded had the overlap. And some test listeners, including my own husband, were like, we can't understand what you're saying. And Mouse and I were both like, but that's what the original is like. Yeah, but we can't understand what you're saying. It's confusing. We can't make up the lyrics. And so we're like, all right. And so we re-recorded it more like the Idina Menzel, Michael Bublé version than the original Dean Martin version. And one person didn't like it, but most people seem to think it was hysterical. This is one of the few things I've done on YouTube that I've actually sent to my mother because she's a huge Dean Martin fan. And she liked it. I don't think she understood a lot of the references, but she liked it. So there you go. My mother doesn't understand most of what I do for a living, just as a point of reference. But one person got really, really angry at me. And I'm going to read the comment verbatim and try not to be too much of a jerk about it. But, Oh, I'm gonna do the voice, because this is what I heard it's the "oh my god, Becky, look at her butt" voice. I can't help it. It's, I was kind of under the impression that you were a feminist or something. Mocking #MeToo victims doesn't seem like a very feministy thing. Unsubscribed. Oh, okay, well that's great. So they're unsubscribed, so they're not gonna be seeing this, right? Yeah, the snark is coming out because one of the things I was conscious of with this song is the fact that I actually was mocking my own disability with PTSD. A couple of disability advocates who are friends of mine, we refer to that in something that you cannot report in public. But my attitude is, if you can't you can't have fun with the challenges in your own life, how do you expect anybody else to have a positive response to that? And there was, as one commenter said, what part of the song gave you the idea that any victim was being mocked? I mean, first of all, you don't call sexual assault and sexual harassment videos victims. You don't call them victims. You call them survivors, because victim is a pejorative in a lot of circles. And that's part of the problem with it. Too many people get branded by this, or identify with this victim thing, and then, oh, I can never get past it. And the whole point of the song was to make it a guy who a woman is absolutely, completely safe with, preserving the original female lyrics. Because let's face it, the complaints of the song were not about the woman's lyrics, about, the marriage status shaming of her unmarried aunt, and, the slut shaming inherent in the song. It was the lines, the lyrics that people complained about were the, what's in this drink, which is the woman's lyric, but the idea that it had been spiked, that wasn't the original context. It was just intended to be the drink was strong. That's what people used to say, so they could act crazy, like, whoa, what's in this drink? I'm being zany. And then the don't hold out now lyric, which in context is absolutely consensual. And, other people argue that the song, as it originally was actually quite feminist, because it was speaking out about the, the appearances that women had to keep up, and the fact that all the pressure was on the woman to be a good girl. Men and women still aren't judged by the same paradigm. And so, I am glad I got at least the one comment, because someone had the balls to say it instead of just passive aggressively sniping behind my back. So mockery aside, I salute you, angry commenter. But the idea that I would mock victims of sexual harassment actually shows, first of all, the commenter clearly has no idea about my own experiences in public, and my own stance on the whole thing, and the fact that I have been supportive of Me Too in broad strokes, but there are some times that it just gets ridiculous. And this wasn't, organizations like Time's Up and things like that complaining about the song. This was a few people complaining, and radio stations taking it on themselves to be moral arbiters. And I just think it's a real slippery slope. What you do if you don't like a song on a radio station is you turn the radio off, or you change a channel. And I remember not long ago, there was a Rihanna Eminem song, that I Love the Way You Lie song. And the lyrics were actually about a guy tying a woman to a bed and setting her house on fire with her inside it. That played on Top 40 radio, aimed at adolescents, and that song didn't get pulled. And then I started sort of jokingly thinking about the other songs that if this slippery slope continues, will get pulled, like Santa Baby. I mean, she's just a gold digger. Like, what a horribly sexist attitude towards women. That song's misogynist. Like, women aren't gold diggers. And then O Tannenbaum, it's in German. Nazi. You go down that slippery slope, and, I hope I don't have quinoa in my teeth. But you go down that slippery slope, and almost no Christmas song is safe, because they're Christmas songs, and that's taking one religion and, forcing it on everybody else who's not part of that religion. The holiday music they play on the radio doesn't tend to include dreidel, 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 I made you out of clay. Just saying, these are Christmas songs. There's that song, oh God, we sang in school, that one. Have a happy, happy holiday, holiday, holiday. That one, and the, the verses, hang the menorah, sing of the days of Judas Maccabee, 8 gleaming candles shine for all to see. We sang that in school. You don't hear that on the radio. This is not holiday music. This is Christmas music. Let's be real. So the whole idea of banning songs because they may offend someone, I mean, wasn't that supposed to be the whole war on Christmas that didn't actually exist? But I mean, why is it the war on Christmas when people point out, hey, Christians, you're shoving your essentially state-sponsored religion down everybody else's throats, people of other faiths and atheists combined. How come, songs like Silent Night and O Come All Ye Faithful that are religious in origin, the Little Drummer Boy or something like that, that's all totally okay. That violates our freedom from religion every December for about 2,000 years now. No, a lot of the songs didn't exist before Irving Berlin. You start thinking about that and it just ends up being silly. So me as a non-Christian person, I put Happy Hanukkah at the end of the video. If people didn't get the joke there, I don't know what more I can telegraph. I'm not a Christian person, and I could, I guess, get upset at being forced to partake, but I have, really good friends who are Christian and they're believing Christians, and that's cool. I am cool with partaking in different people's religions. I'm not bothered by that, but some people are. Some people are militantly atheist and they can't go into a mall during this time of the year without hearing Christmas music. So the fact that that is a thing puts the offense of like everybody else as kind of a moot point, right? Because we are supposed to be guaranteed freedom of religion and freedom from religion, but I don't get to take Jewish holidays off as a stat holiday, right? Like, that's what I find so silly about picking this one song out of so many that are potentially problematic, right? The 12 Days of Christmas is all about reciting the Advent, right? So I just, that is my response to people going, you're making fun of Me Too victims. No, I'm not. First of all, survivors. Second of all, no, I'm not. It was just an attempt to have fun with a manufactured hysteria over a song that really hurt no one. And personally, I think I like putting in context the rights and freedoms that we have now as women in 2018, because we should be paying respects to the people that had to fight a lot harder than we are, and had to grow up and live their life under much more oppressive and suppressive circumstances. And I think we can only move forward in a productive way if we recognize our privilege, if we recognize the benefits that we reap because of the trailblazers of like the 1940s forward. And in some cases you're going back to, the late 1800s or earlier, Mary Wollstonecraft and people like that. But even Jane Austen in her own way. These women lived life in gilded cages. And I think it's really important to recognize 1944, 75 years ago-ish, like not that long, less than 100 years. I mean, in the history of humankind, that is not a long time. look at how much things have changed for women. And since this is the season for having happy hearts and lights in the darkness and all that stuff, I really think it's important to use things like that to sort of tip our hats to the fact that, you know, to quote the cigarette ad, we've come a long way, baby. Yeah, I'll leave it there. I'm preaching now. The other comments were, the most comments were on the I binge watched She-Ra video. As many comments as everything else combined this week. So I'm going to focus the rest of the time on that and not take a ton of time. Most of it was just people offering their opinions, and awesome. I'm not going to take people on their opinions. If you liked it, great. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. It's subjective inherently. That's totally fine. I'm not going to be a jerk about it. One of the things I am going to ask is the people, and there were multiple comments in this regard, who talked about the characters being off-model. Do you mean off-model from the concept art for the new show, or off-model based on the original 1980 show? And what do you refer to there? Because what off-model means is you deviate from the concept art. Sometimes people use that to parody it without getting nailed with copyright. That doesn't work on YouTube. The one off-model thing I saw was She-Ra's height changing. She's supposed to be 8 feet tall. There's no way she's 8 feet tall scaled to the other characters based on some of those shots. So that you are correct in that case. The character was off-model, but I'm wondering if there was more than that, just out of curiosity. So let me know. Leave a comment. One person asked, and when people ask questions, I try to answer them. They said, I think all your presented points are fair. Some are overly critical in my opinion, or maybe it's because I don't understand them. For example, you're talking about a hierarchy based on how light your skin is. What exactly do you mean by that? Isn't Bo a character that is very up in this hypothetical hierarchy? Maybe I'm missing something here. And then they said, that was a pretty thorough review right here. Thanks for that. Sidekicks do not tend to seem high up in the hierarchy of a show. You've got the hero, you've got the villain, and, then you've got the sidekicks. And Bo is certainly not someone of any actual status in the world. Historically, Bo's been the boy character in a girl show. Cue derision right there. But he doesn't have any power. He's just Glimmer's friend. Glimmer's the princess. Bo is not a princess. Easy there. Whoa. Bo actually has like the lowest social status of any of the series regulars because he is not a princess. So he is not actually essential to protecting the realm. He's just the greatest friend a girl could ever have. So in that case, no, Bo is actually quite low status. And then when you talk about, the important characters, you've got She-Ra, you've got Catra. They're the two, and then it's all split up, right? But no, I wouldn't say Bo, yeah, he's a main character, but I wouldn't say there is representation, yes, in terms of power within the world. And then, as I was talking about at the time, specifically the status somebody has in the Princess of Power clique, it is based on, She-Ra's blonde and white, and Glimmer's kind of light-skinned, and Bo's kind of light-skinned, but then my whole point was, you've got whitey white chick at the top, and then one of the derided characters is the darkest skinned character, Natasha. And then, there's this sort of hierarchy of all the brown people and the sort of misfits somewhere in between. If you want to claim that Entrapta was sort of rejected, not so much. Spoiler, not going to say why. But Scorpia certainly was, because she's gender nonconforming. And, so within the accepted characters, Bo especially, but Bo and Glimmer have to be so much better to be seen as sidekick worthy then Adora has to be, oh my God, the savior of the realm. That's what I meant by that. So hopefully that makes sense. And obviously it was something of a glib comment, being sarcastic because of all the ram your social justice down our throats attitude. Somebody did remind me that the reason Swiftwind was male is because Lou Scheimer, who was the head guy at Filmation, he voiced Swiftwind in the original cartoon. So thank you for that. I did not know that. Like I said, I didn't follow She-Ra anywhere nearly as closely as I followed He-Man. The only She-Ra toy I actually liked was Starburst Swiftwind. That's it. But still, you know, the original Swiftwind was not going around saying all the other horses needed to be freed. That was a bit weird. But yeah, so I'm answering that. And that takes us to 20 minutes. And I don't want to go on at length. I want to ask you guys a question. Because some people on Patreon, again, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. Some people on Patreon, and then somebody in the comments of one of the videos this week talked to me about reviewing Darksiders 3. How do we feel about that? Greater community question. Yes. Let me know. Do you want me to review Darksiders 3? I was gonna show you the Lady Bits backer t-shirts. It's over there. I forgot to bring it in. So we'll do that later next week. Also, again, working on the final episode. This is just a bit of a status update for anybody who's wondering as a point of transparency. T-shirts are done. Just got to get the patches made. Backers are getting a Glowy Box Loves You patch. That's the design we finally came up with. We went back and forth on it forever. And then I have to finish the backers only episode, get the DVDs made. But Canada is also going through the ongoing issues related to a 5-week revolving postal strike. And stuff that I have ordered that was delivered through Canada Post is incredibly delayed. They're saying there could be delays as late as March. God, I hope not. I would like to get this stuff out in January, but I want to be really clear for Kickstarter backers and people who are interested, you know, who want their goodies. I'm not going to send the stuff out until I feel like you're going to get it, or I think that you're going to get it in a reasonable amount of time and it's not going to get lost. So I'd rather hold off a little bit more on that and assure delivery, because I just don't have the money to replace the stuff. I'm only ordering as much as you know, people backed, with a few extra items in case there's a defect on something or there's something wrong with something or I miscounted. But there isn't a lot of extra, so I can't afford to be sending out a bunch of extra things because Canada Post lost people's packages. So I am going to wait on that. I hope you guys understand. Completely beyond my control. And other shipping methods are crazy expensive. So I can only afford Canada Post. So that's what I calculated for in the shipping costs. So sucks. But let me know about Darksiders 3. Have a great weekend. Monday's video is going to be, I already know, I'm going to tell you now, it's on the sexual objectification of Jason Momoa, inspired by some stuff I've seen about Aquaman hype. So that's what's coming up on Monday. Various and sundry things throughout the week. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.